You're listening to the Retirement Solution Podcast with John Hicks.
Helping you solve the retirement puzzle. Welcome to the Retirement Solution with John Hicks.
Here with John Hicks, I'm Jennifer Perry. And remember, if you have any questions for us here on the Retirement Solution, you can always drop us an email through our website at retirementsolutionradio.com. Today here on the Retirement Solution, we're talking about the things that we can control in our own personal lives, our own personal economy, especially when it comes to your retirement, because there's actually a lot that we can control. And here's the thing, John, the American College of Financial Services recently went out and surveyed a bunch of baby boomers about their financial knowledge. Now, 70% of them say it's important for them to have a source of guaranteed monthly income. But I think most of us don't even know where to start in terms of figuring out all those income pieces. So Where do you start in helping someone control that aspect of their retirement?
Well, when you think about it, anyone could retire essentially at any age that they wanted, as long as they knew they had a sustainable income stream that was more than enough to pay for all of their expenditures. And it could grow over time, at least to keep up with inflation. Think about it. It doesn't matter what your age is. I think a lot of people concentrate on this arbitrary 62 or 65 or 66 or full retirement age or wait to age 70. Guys, you can retire whenever you want, as long as you have a sustainable income stream, which means you probably need, and I've said this multiple times, 3 to 5 completely separate income sources all coming in so that you can stay retired, right?
Yeah.
Because the worst thing about retiring is when you find out 3-4 years later, oh, crud. I maybe did not have the right income streams, and now I can't stay retired, right? This actually happened several years ago to NFL running back Ricky Williams. And he retired for like 2 or 3 years and realized he was broke. And he had to come back just to try to earn some kind of a paycheck. Mike Tyson did the same thing.
Yes.
We know these stories, but if they had proper income streams, and guys, this is where it's tough. Because historically, the way that we've trained all of us, right, the industry has trained us all, is to focus on a big old pile of money. Right, Jennifer? They say, listen, how much money do you have in your 401k? 900,000? That's pretty darn good. Well, 450,000? Well, heck, the way that you spend money, that's more than enough. Oh, you got 3 million? Buddy, you can make it. And the point is that usually that a big old pile of money, that has very little to do with how much you can really spend in retirement, depending on how you want to live. So amazingly, what we really should focus on are income streams. So what am I talking about? Well, let's talk about originally what we used to have were pensions. So when you took that pension and then you added to it Social Security, that's 2 income streams, both of them pretty strong. You know, I'm worried about the long-term aspects of Social Security, but if you're about to be retired now or you're already retired, I'm honestly not too worried about the solvency for you guys. I'm really much more worried about people my age group and later. They're always going to have it, in my opinion, unless they, change it and turn it into something else. It's just probably not going to pay what we hope. Or what they'll do is, in order for you to start collecting Social Security, you sign up for it by giving them your death certificate, which means you have to be dead before they're going to give you anything. I think they can do that.
Good luck in getting your money then.
Good luck with that one. So the idea was back in the day with the pension, you had 2 income streams that were pretty certain. In this, remember, the pensions, you didn't even put that money in a lot of the time. So you would have still had your saving money. So if you had your savings and you could have pulled an income stream from that, guys, there is 3 completely separate income streams. But now we fast forward to today. The reason why 70% of these baby boomers said, oh my goodness, in retirement, here's what makes me nervous. Here's what we really want to have. We want to have a secure and stable income stream is because most people don't have those pensions anymore.
Yeah.
Or they do have a pension, but it's with a company that, let's be honest, pensions can go under. And you may have to go to the pension guarantee fund. And by the way, that doesn't mean they guarantee your full pension.
Right. They could cut it significantly, right?
Oh, no. Oh, honey, no. No, if you go to the Pension Guarantee Fund, you typically get between 10 and 15% of what you're promised in the front end.
Your wife found that out the hard
way.
That's
right.
I
was going to say, if you don't believe me, I am living proof, or my wife is living proof, that she was going to have an aviation pension through U.S. Air, but U.S. Air basically went bankrupt and were bought out by someone else down the road. And she went from the equivalent, because she only had about 5 years of that company, she went from about $400 a month of what she would have been promised to about $10 a year. No kidding. I mean, now they don't even send statements. They're like, it costs more for us to put a stamp on this envelope than what we were going to pay you this year. And so that's what I'm talking about. So even if you have a pension, there's a little bit of a cause just to think that, okay, that's why you want 3 to 5 different income streams. But it's a big deal. But here's the thing. If someone doesn't have a pension today, they could effectively create their own pension, but most people don't want it. As a matter of fact, I was reading here, Jennifer, it said that of the 70% of people that really want good quality guaranteed income streams, only 31% of them want to even consider an annuity. Okay, now here's the amazing thing to me, and I know I just said the A word because it is so polarizing.
It's a turnoff for a lot of people.
Absolutely, but amazingly, do you know what a pension is? An annuity. That's all it is. Yeah. It's just a different word for it. And the thing of it is that I have no problem with someone not wanting an annuity income stream right now. I have no problems in the world.
Because interest rates are making them a little less attractive, right?
That is exactly it. Yeah. Because unfortunately, interest rates have compressed so much that if you're locking in an annuity payment, you're potentially locking it in at the lowest interest rates we may ever see again. So this is kind of where, Jennifer, we look at this, and I'm aware of this. I'm aware that people don't like annuities. There's nothing wrong with that to me. The idea that is what is your alternative? Because you do need a viable stream for income that is not correlated with your individual stocks, that's not correlated completely with interest rates, that's not correlated with other things, right? And so this is kind of the reason why we created our Omega strategies. What we found over the years is that there's a better way to do it. Because most people out there say, well, here's what I want, or here's what I got. Here's what they need to do. Just kind of like they go and they get a quote on their auto insurance or something like that. I think what most people should really do is think about getting an income quote, where the idea is it does not matter what the investment is. The idea is that are there 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 completely different ways that someone can produce an income stream. They need to get quotes for each of them. Put them all side by side so that they can make a selection as to what level of safety, what level of security, and what level of income that they're really most comfortable in getting. And that's what we finally, it took years and years to figure this stuff out. This is what we finally started offering to folks out there, where we can set beside a current pension, or if they have a lump sum option, what would it look like if you just got your own annuity? Now remember, if you're comparing this to a pension, you don't want to take that money and run to the stock market, right?
Right.
There's a good chance you could run out of that sucker. The market could go wrong tomorrow. We could have the vaccines could all prove to be bunk, and then we don't, the market collapses and stays that way for 15 years. In which case, if you had your money in the market, that's not great, right?
Right.
So if you have a pension, you kind of want to consider, okay, what if you had your own personal annuity? Could you get a better return on your own? Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But compared beside that, maybe you put in there, what else is just as safe? Well, maybe CDs or treasury bonds. What are those going to pay you for income? And then maybe beside that, if you want to add a little bit more risk, you look at something kind of like an Omega series, where you can get a really good amount of downside protection. Now, they're not fully guaranteed. Like an annuity might be, or like a CD, or like treasuries held to maturity. They're not fully guaranteed. But Jennifer, we found ways where we can get between 40 to 50% downside protection. So that's protecting the first 40 to 50% downside on the market. That's pretty darn strong.
Yeah.
So again, it's not risk-free. It is a security. So it does carry those pros and cons, but that's a good amount of protection.
Yeah.
The amazing thing is, compared to annuities or things like that, we can typically get 5, 6, 7, 8, even 9% annualized income payments for clients.
Wow.
Check that out. And so it becomes a very different situation if basically a CD is going to pay us what? 1% for a 5-year hold? Oh, and by the way, I just looked that up. A 5-year CD right now is paying about 1.25%, guys.
Boy.
That is terrible. You can't live off that. So if that is your very next best thing, then you look at an annuity. Let's say an annuity can give you a 2.5 to a 4% income stream, okay? You compare those two things to an income type strategy from an Omega, that's a very different ballgame. And of course, at that point, then you would compare that to dividend-paying strategies of good quality companies. And then you want to compare that to what if you just took a 4% rule against a total broad market investment portfolio. And so when you look at all those things, that lets you get an idea of all the things that someone can do. Amazingly, we find that people gravitate towards those Omega strategies because they get more protection than just being in the market or dividend stocks. They get a really good amount of income that pays them typically monthly. But more than that, they get a lot of flexibility. Yeah. Because they're getting a higher potential income, so they don't have to utilize their whole portfolio to generate their income. We had a lady that came in the other day, and she said, yeah, I really need to pull about 4% from my portfolio. What we found was by taking a portion of her portfolio, less than a third, we were able to generate all the income she needed.
Oh, wow.
Off of just a third of her portfolio. So the other 66% of her money, she can do whatever she wants with. We helped solidify her income for the next 5 years, right?
Wow. Okay.
So the Omega strategies and what we're looking at here is if someone wants an income stream, there's more than one way to skin a cat. You just want to make sure that you're not doing it in the way where the cat ends up clawing your eyeballs out, right?
Right.
Have questions for John? Drop us an email at retirementsolutionradio.com.
Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if John Hicks is licensed in your state, please call 502-690-5635. J. Hagan Capital Inc. is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through John Hicks, Kentucky Insurance License number 998827.